Yes. What's going on, guys? My name is Eddie Tranzcendent, and I would like to welcome you to the Latin Soundtrack Podcast here on Tranzcendent Outlook. The Latin Soundtrack Podcast is a podcast that I've started about 5 or 6 years ago, where I take some time to go ahead and highlight in Latino or Latina individuals, organizations, or businesses that are doing great things here, not only in the greater Bridgeport area, but in Connecticut as a whole. And I'm super excited to bring this back. It's been about 5 years since this podcast has been live on Facebook. Um, but we're live today. I'm excited, and I'm excited for you guys to join me on was sure to be a great interview. Today's interview is one that I'm super excited for because this is someone that I wanted to interview for a long time. Who's currently the leader, the president of an amazing organization here in Bridgeport that I also have been wanting to interview for a long time. Only because this is the organization that first gave me an opportunity to to kind of get my feet into the community, get my feet into the nonprofit world, and because of the leaders that were there at the time, 7, 8 years ago, I was given an opportunity, and I'm forever grateful for the opportunity because it opened me up to the world again, the world of nonprofits here in the greater Bridgeport area, right? And so that organization that I'm talking about is the Puerto Rican Parade of Fairfield County. The Puerto Rican Parade of Fairfield County is an organization here in the city of Bridgeport that's been around for now going on their 31st year. And it's an organization that has deep roots, and one that a lot of people know about, but not a lot of us know about what it is that happens and what it is that they do on a day-to-day basis, right? And so today I have with us Milta Feliciano, who is the president of the Puerto Rican Parade of Fairfield County. And I'm excited to bring her up and for you guys to meet her and for you guys to learn more about her and about the organization. So I think without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring Milta up. Please don't mind me as I am a one man crew here. But we have Milta here. Milta, what's going on? How are you?
Not much. Well, thank you for having me on your show, Eddie. How are you doing this evening?
I'm good. I'm excited. I'm happy. Um, again, this is something that I've been wanting to do a long time in terms of interviewing someone from this organization. Only because again, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, I was involved with the organization for a long time. It was the organization that really gave me the opportunity to really dig my feet into the nonprofit world, and
Mhm.
um and for that I'm super grateful. And so I'm excited. Now, Milta, what's going on with you? How's everything going with you?
Well, you know what? I'm a little chilly today, but besides that, I'm doing well. So just to give you a little history on me and who I am, I started back with the parade in 2000, and I want to say 2004, 2005, is when I joined as a member and, worked my way through the ranks and held several positions. In 2010, I held the position as president. Um, and now again, I'm back. So I hold the position from 2023 to now 2024. So this is an organization that is, near and dear to my heart that I volunteered many years for. And a lot of them were, very beneficial to me because I got to meet a lot of great people out in the community.
No, that's great. I think before we really dig deep into the Puerto Rican Parade of Fairfield County
Yep.
and what it is that you do there, I kind of want to share a little bit about who you are, who is Milta, and what it is that you do.
Oh, that's a loaded question. You sure you want me to answer that? Well, I was born and raised here in Bridgeport.
Okay.
To parents who came here from Puerto Rico. My mom came here when she was 5. My dad came here when he was 19. Um, and so my parents met here, they married, and they had 3 beautiful children, 3 girls at that, right?
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so, all 3 of us were born and raised here. We went to the Bridgeport school systems. I currently, work for the city of Bridgeport, have been employed there for 25 years. That's not a lot, but 25 years I've been working with the city. I have 4 beautiful, wonderful children. I have 3 men, right? Because they're all older now, and I have one young woman who's 15. And so they're, I think only one of my children is in Florida. All my other children are here in Bridgeport. So we have long, deep roots here in the city.
Now,
So,
I don't know if you mentioned it, or did you mention, are you the middle child, or where do you fall within those three?
oh, yeah, I'm the middle child. Yeah. Yeah. I am the middle child.
No, listen, I get it. I get it. For me, it was three boys in my house, and I'm the middle child as well. So,
You know what? I think that's why we get along so well. It's like that middle child syndrome, we kind of stick together.
no,
But yeah,
definitely,
you're the
definitely.
middle child.
So yeah, and I was born and raised in Bridgeport as well. So I would there's definitely a lot of different similarities there.
Yep.
Now my kids are a lot younger, right? My daughter, I just had a daughter. She's 6 months, so super young.
Okay.
I'm just getting started. So perhaps after this, we could talk about some tips on how to do this parenting thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not easy. But you know what? With hard work and dedication, you know what? I have to say, Eddie, um, I raised my boys here in Bridgeport, and you know what? They're all successful. And parenting is all what you put into your children, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm very proud of all three of my boys, even my daughter. My daughter's still in high school. But they're really good kids. It doesn't help that they have a really strong mom, but parenting definitely is, sometimes I like to say it's a community event, right? Because you can't do it alone.
No,
Um,
no, definitely.
and so, you know what? And I have a huge family, Eddie, in Bridgeport. I mean, when I say huge, my grandmother had like 13 kids. So,
Wow.
and they all had offsprings, right? So, it's parenting is a community affair to me because, you depend on your family, friends, and community members to kind of help you out and help guide your children, right? So,
Do you think that we're still there? Do you think that we're still at the point where community is really helping us raise the kids? Because I feel like before, right? So my background is similar to yours. Again, my
yep.
grandmother had 10 kids, right? And so I feel like before it was kind of more okay for the neighbors to kind of, that tung halong and say, hey, what are you doing? Where today, God forbid something like that happens, people get upset and there's trouble. So do you feel it's still the same now?
No, it definitely is not the same, right? And I guess that's where I say I go back on it depends on the parent, right? Because I'm the type of parent where, listen, if you see my kid anywhere, you call me. I expect a phone call, right? It's funny because I tell my daughter all the time, my oldest son now is 30, and he was walking down East Main. Now, mind you, I had given him permission to walk down East Main, to attend the McGivney Center. And I must have gotten 10 phone calls that day. Your son was on his main. This is where he's wearing. Do you want me to follow him? And I said, I thank you for calling first, but I gave him permission. And if you ever see him anywhere else, you do the same because it's well accepted, you know?
Yeah.
So I have to say, no, it's not the same, but it depends on the parent, right? Because if you're a parent that, that you feel like you can do it yourself, then no, you're not going to have that community involvement or the same that you and I had growing up, right? It depends on the person, right? I'm always willing and open to get that phone call and say, Milta, listen, I saw your son here, or I saw your daughter here, because you know what? That only helps me as a
Yeah.
parent, right?
Yeah.
And, I could always tell my son, listen, I got 15 phone calls today. This is what you have on. This is the color sneakers you have. And they're like, oh my God, mom, how do you know? Because you know what? I let people know that anywhere they see my kids, let me know. Because you know what? Someday you may need help from them if I'm not around, right? And I think sometimes some parents kind of tend to forget that, and I would hope that we can bring that back because that's how I raised my kids, and hopefully you'll raise your kids that way. But every parent is different. So
No, most definitely. And did I hear you say East Main Street? So are you an East Side girl?
I am a die-hard East Side girl. I am. Actually, it's funny because I was raised in I was born in Father Panic Village, right? And I think at the age of, was it 3? I think it was at the age of 3, my mom and my dad moved us to Gilmore Street. Like we literally crossed the street, and it's a place, they're co-ops. It's called Marionsville Co-op, and that's where from 3 till, when I was in my 20s, that I was raised. But we literally just crossed the street. And listen, my mom still owns that co-op there. And let me tell you, that was like a little community in itself. And you know what? As of right now, I'm sitting in my house on the east side. So I've
Okay.
never left.
I love it. I love it. Again, I'm an East Side boy too. I don't live there anymore. Moved up north, but definitely East Side boy at heart, and I love going over there whenever
Yeah.
I get a chance to. I was able to actually pull my mom out of there just maybe 3 or 4 years ago. She didn't want to go, and I'm like, you gotta go, and I'm trying to pull her out. And I think it was about 3 years ago, I was finally successful at getting her out of the East Side.
Listen, my mom is 76 years old. She still lives in Marionsville. And let me just explain a little what Marionsville is a co-op of 24 units, right?
Yes.
And it's almost like like a circle, right? All 24 units. And let me tell you, growing up there, everybody knew each other, everybody looked out for each other's family. We don't even call ourselves neighbors, right? We're all family there because that's how we were raised. That's how we cared for each other. My mom is still there and she will not leave. She will not leave. That's just, her place of comfort. And people say, "Oh, but your mom is still on the east side." That's right. My mom is on the east side and she'll stay there because that's where she feels safe, right? Because of her neighbors and the way we were, treated and brought up. It's, a little community within itself, you know?
Yes, 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 yes. No, no, most definitely, definitely. So, okay, so now let's get to where we came to talk about, which is the Puerto Rican period of Fairfield County.
Okay.
And I want to start with just a short little story of my first meeting, my first Puerto Rican Parade of Fairfield County meeting.
Oh God.
uh, so my first meeting. We're talking 2015 or 16. I don't remember. But I remember staying there. I remember it was the weekend of the parade, right? So this is like a few days before the parade. We're getting ready to go, getting ready to kind of hit the road with the parade. Um, and I remember sitting there and asking the president at the time. I remember her saying, "Hey, well, you guys have any more questions?" To all the volunteers, and I said, "Well, yeah, I have a question. When do we start preparing for next year's parade? Because I want to make sure that I come and I help out and stuff." And she goes, "Oh, next week." And I said, "Next week?" And she goes, "Yeah, this is all year round, baby. This is not just."
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, "Oh my god!" And that's when it kind of hit me, like, "Oh my god, like these guys, like they do more than just the parade." And so I kind of want to start there. I want to start there. I want you to talk to us a little bit about um, what the PRPFC, who they are, who we are, and what it is that we do around the year. Because I think that there's a misconception that it's only a parade, it's acabó, and I'm like, and we know, you and I both know that it's not like that.
It is absolutely not that way. So I'm fortunate enough right now to serve, as president, and alongside me I have a very dedicated group of individuals. I mean, they're hardworking. They are just amazing. They're amazing women. Right now we have Lisette Colon, who is our vice president. We have Jalissa Alvarado, who is our treasurer, and we have Ruth Ortega, who's our secretary, and our sergeant at arms is Helen Cora. So it's a small executive group, which holds a larger membership at hand. And you're absolutely right, Eddie. From I think this year's parade is July 14th, July 15th or 16th. We start planning for the next year. I think what it's very important for viewers to know, or people in the city of Bridgeport to know, is that this organization hosts the largest free event in our city. Okay. And when I say the largest free, I take that personal. It is the largest, right? So we start our parade route from Central High School. We go
Yes.
down all the way park. We go down, Park Avenue, and we end at Seaside Park. Okay, and when we end there, we end with a festival, right? So we host, various musical selections. In past years, there have been even dancers that have come and performed. And so I need the community to realize that this is the largest free event. We don't charge for anything that day. Um, It can get great crazy. It can get crazy because it's a lot of work. You need a lot of volunteers. Um, and I just need the community to understand that, all year long we're hosting events like this past weekend. We hosted our Three Kings Day event at the Liceo Cubano. That was our first fundraiser of the year, right? We raffled two round trip tickets actually to Puerto Rico from
I saw
Abelo.
that.
That was, let me tell you, that was amazing. We had, I think it was like 6 to 8 baskets that were Three King Day themed. We had a live band, DJ, music. I mean, it was really an amazing event. So that kickstart the year. And every month after that, we will host a different event. We actually have a calendar on our Facebook page with all of the events that we have going on. And I can't stress enough at every event that we host that it is a fundraiser, to raise funds for the parade, to pay for the artists, to pay for the sound system, to pay for, permits that we have to get in order to host, not only just the parade, but the music festival as well. As a matter of fact, this evening before I jumped on here, we were on a parks board meeting where we got our park permit approved, thank God, right? Because that kickstarts everything. Is our
Yes.
parks permit, to use the band shell, the electricity there, and there's like a host of things that go, behind that. But and a lot of people know about the parade. um I just need to educate our community on the events that take place behind the parade so that, I think if people knew all the work and the time and the energy that went into it, more people would be like, you know what, I'm going to join because I want to
Yeah.
help, you
No,
know?
most definitely, most
So,
definitely. And so, and let's talk about that. Let's talk about some of the flagship events that the organization has all year round. I mean, we talked about one of them, which is the Three Kings slash Coquito contest, which is
yep,
definitely a big event, a very exciting, fun event that people look forward to every year.
yep.
Which, by the way, I noticed that it's been changed recently, right? In years of past, it was done in more December timeframe. Now we're doing it
Yes,
in the new year. Was there a reason behind that change?
yes. You know what? Last year was the first time we did that. And I think it was because um last year Three Kings fell on a Friday, I think it was, and we decided, listen, let's do something that's a big part of our history, right?
Yes,
We put out our grass in the boxes with water and we wait for those Three Kings to come. That's, what all of
yes.
us were taught. And so we decided, you know what, instead of hosting it in December where there's so many different events going on, and it's kind of hard for people to kind of split themselves in so many ways to attend events. We
Mhm.
decided to move it to January and it worked out well.
Yes.
And so we decided, you know what, it worked out well that day. This year we even had the Three Kings show up at our event,
Oh, okay.
which was cool. It was listen, the people were amazed with it. The people took pictures with them. It was amazing. But that's how we changed it from December now to January, because culturally we have to continue to teach our children our culture, right? we
Most
we're
definitely.
we're here in the United States. We speak English. Everything we do is the American culture, but we have to remember our roots and where we came from,
No,
right?
most definitely. Most definitely.
And a part of what we're trying to do is continue to educate, right? Because our nonprofit is not only about putting on a parade and festival, it's also about educating our youth and teaching them what our parents taught us and what our great grandparents taught us, and that is those cultural things. The Three Kings is a big celebration in Puerto Rico. And so we need to start teaching or continuing to teach our children our culture and how we celebrate our events. So,
Okay, so that has now so that it kind of it's funny because it went from being your last event of the year to now your first event
yeah,
of the year, right?
yep,
Which is
yep,
interesting, but it's good because it gets the year started nice and early, and
awesome.
I love it. And so let's kind of go in order, I think, right? So we have that in January. So then, what's the next flagship event that you have?
You know what? I'm gonna cheat a little bit and I'm going to go to our calendar because if
Got
you
it.
go on Facebook, right, on our
Yes.
Facebook page, we do
Yes.
have a calendar of events that we've set up already.
Okay.
So I'm gonna cheat a little bit and go to my Facebook page and check it out. So in January, we hosted our Coquito event. Also this month, which is a really big thing for us, and that's not on our calendar, but we've already started. As a matter of fact, today was our first meeting. We're bringing back the pageants. We haven't had the
Yes.
pageants since 20, I want to say 2019, I think was the last one.
Yes.
And so this year we have Leticia Ortero and Camilia Seda, who will be spearheading that. Like I said, they had their very first meeting this evening.
Yes.
And hopefully it kicked off well. I couldn't be there. Lisette Colon, the vice president, was there because we kind of got to split ourselves in different ways to attend everything. But so
Of course.
that's spearheaded today as well. February we took that month off to because there's some other organizations that are hosting events, so we
Yes.
didn't want to clash. In March we're gonna have a domino competition.
Mm.
April is our sip and paint. That was a big hit last year. We actually sold out of that event where we paid someone to come and do the whole paint, and we
Yeah.
had cheese and wine, and that was a really cool event.
Yes.
The pageant will be held in May for our youth here in the city of Bridgeport.
Hmm.
And then in July 14th is actually our parade and festival this year. Then in September, that's another change that we made. In September, we'll host our annual gala, where before you had the gala, the flag raising, and the parade all in one weekend.
Hmm.
And that was tough. You did it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so, you know, we kind of switch things up a bit, we got to shake things up,
Yeah.
so we moved our gala to September. And this year we had it September 15th, which is the beginning of Hispanic Heritage Month. And so we're making, minor changes or whatever, but it's because it represents something big in our culture, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're just not because we wanted to pick a random date. Like I said, the Three Kings is a very important cultural event. The Hispanic heritage is something that we have to start teaching our kids. There's a lot of Puerto Ricans, a lot of Hispanics in general that are doing great things in our community, but we don't excuse me, we don't talk about that enough.
No, most definitely. And and when you talked about the pageant and how today is the first day of the pageant, it'll be remiss for me to not kind of bring up that those two young ladies that you talked about
I'm sorry.
that are in charge of the pageant this year are well, one of them, at least I know, was actually in a pageant when they were a child. I'm not sure, was it both of them or just one?
Both of them.
Both of them, right?
Both of
And
them were actually contestants, yeah,
and,
and
and so
winners.
and so
Yep.
talk to me a little bit about how important that was for you to be able to get these two young ladies to not only help you kind of bring this great part of the organization back, but to do it with two young ladies that were part of it as young girls, and who kind of bring that experience to the PRPFC.
Let me tell you, um, not only was it important, but it was exciting, right? Because here you have two young women who participated, who went through, the entire process of, the pageantry, and now they're coming back to educate. That's huge. There's not, I don't think there's too many organizations out there that can boast on that, right?
Yeah.
Where you have contestants who come back, and let me tell you, these women, they're young, they are amazing, they're just willing to help, willing to teach these, our youth today, um how to participate in the pageant. I think, one of the major things that our current board has been able to do is to bring back people from from our past, right? Because, yes, today is today, we have our future, but we always have to keep our past with us as well, right? And so to me it's a huge accomplishment that we were able to bring on these young women. And you know what, Eddie, if you can at some time, I would love for you to bring them on your show because they are articulate, they're amazing. um so it would be cool for you to interview them and to get how they feel coming back. We're
No, of
excited.
course. So,
But
I actually just a quick little a little sneak peek. I'm actually going to be interviewing Luthi soon, because she
oh
has some
yes,
good things she's doing with her studio and everything. So
absolutely.
she'll be coming on the show pretty soon. And I'm sure we'll talk about the PRPFC while she's on there as well. So,
Let me tell
um,
you, they're, like I said, they're both accomplished young women, and we're just ecstatic to be working with them. They're just, their energy is untouchable,
yes.
and so they're they hit the ground running when we asked them to bring this forward, and they did. So we're very excited about that.
No, I'm excited too. And again, I told you this in the past, and I tell you this right now. Now that it's recording, anything you need, anything I can help you with, you please don't hesitate to let me know. Um,
Absolutely.
all right, so this organization, the PRPFC, just like a lot of other organizations here in Bridgeport, it moves because of the work of volunteers. I mean, literally, we're all
Yes,
volunteers. We're not, we're not paid. We do this out of, we do this on our free time, the pockets of time that we have during the day. Um,
exactly.
but but um, but unlike the other organizations here in Bridgeport and in surrounding cities or in the state of Connecticut, as you mentioned before, the PRPFC has the biggest free event
Mhm.
of the year that takes place here. And that particular event is the parade and festival, and that cannot move forward without the help of volunteers. I mean, the amount of volunteers that are needed for that specific day, for that Sunday, is insane. And so, talk to us a little bit about the importance of the volunteers, um, and what can one do if we want to get involved as a volunteer?
Okay. So you're absolutely right when you say that these none of the events, right? Even the Coquito one that just passed, none of these events are successful without volunteers, right? You need for this Coquito contest, you need people to pour the Coquito, you need people to welcome people, there's a million things to do as you're setting up these events. I can't mention, the amount of work that has to get done, that day of the parade and festival. You need people going down the parade route. You have people on carts making sure that there's not big pockets, right? Of wait times, during the route. You need people at the band shell, answering questions, or welcoming the singers and the actors, or whoever's going to perform. And so, like you said, none of this is possible with the without the assistance of volunteers. And in order for you to become a volunteer, um please go on our page. It's the 30th year Puerto Rican Parade of Fairfield County. That's the name of our Facebook page. Go on there, become a friend, send us a message. We're currently working on revamping our website, which is currently down, but that'll be up. And so we'll be accepting volunteers that way as well. um but I'll tell you what, with the current executive board and the membership that we have right now, we have a great group of people. It's a way, of, yes, volunteering, but of meeting new people. And I mean making lifetime friends that become family. That's what you're getting when you become a part of the PRPFC. So
Yes. No, 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 most definitely. And again, um, something that is just so important. Um, and it's keep it on pace. Talking about the parade,
yep,
can you tell us a little bit about what you're planning to do this year with the parade that maybe is different from years in past? I think that even though it's the parade, the Puerto Rican parade, and when you first say it, it sounds like it's the same thing. I know
yep,
from experience that every year we want to make it a little more different, right? Because we want
yep,
people to come out and have a good time. So
yep.
can you give us a sneak peek at what you guys are working on?
Well, let me think about that. Well, you know what? It's crazy because this year we're working alongside a small business person who is going to be assisting Lisette Colon, who is taking on that tremendous task of setting up the festival every year. We try to bring different events. Last year we brought in all local people, right? Because yeah, it's great to see all these big name people at Seaside Park. At the same time, we can't forget our locals that carry us on, throughout our events, and even to showcase talent, right? So this year, I know Lisette has been working with a small business person who's going to, assist this year, unlike we had last year. Last year, we kind of did everything ourselves. But this year, he works in, I think it's with New Haven, I think I want to say, to bring artists to I think it's New Haven, I want to say. But so I can't disclose that yet because I don't know, what contracts are being put together, and who they plan on bringing. But every year, it doesn't matter who we bring. Just going out there and sitting at Seaside Park, right by the getting that breeze off the water, you're gonna have a great time.
No, no, most definitely. No, no, most
Yeah.
definitely, most definitely. Um, so let's see. I'm sorry about that. I was actually realizing that I didn't have the comments on, so I was turning it on. See, by the way, if you're watching on Facebook, if you have any questions, please don't shy away from asking any questions or commenting or whatever it is. That's what we're here for. We're gonna be here for another maybe 10, 15 minutes. So if
Yep.
you have any questions that maybe you want answered, please go ahead and ask those questions on Facebook. Um, so all right, so the gala now is going to be in September.
Yep.
Are we? I don't know if you mentioned that. I'm sorry. Are we looking at like mid September? So like towards Hispanic Heritage Month, like
Yep.
that.
So yeah, we start last year. It was September. I think it was 16th. Yep, it was Saturday, September 16th, that we kicked off Hispanic Heritage Month. And we held our banquet at Vazano's Four Seasons, who's a major supporter of ours, and we appreciate them, for allowing us to use their banquet facilities. They always do a great job for us. So it was very important for us, like I said, to highlight the major traditional dates that we need to be educating our kids about, right? And so we figured that we did that one year, it worked out really well, so we plan on kicking off Hispanic Heritage Month every year with our banquet. So
No, I love it. No, I love it. I think it makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
It's definitely a kind of a 4 week period where there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Um, but I love that the PRPFC is now going to be part of everything that's going on. It kicks it off, and
Yeah.
for me, I love that 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 change that was made. And because like
Yep.
you said before, that weekend is insane when you got the flag raising and you got the as a matter of fact, you know what? Let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about the flag raising event and the importance of that event, Milta, because I think that throughout the years, I'm not gonna say that people didn't think it was important, but I think that throughout the years, it wasn't really attended as well as it has been in the last few years. And
Yep.
so, talk to us a little bit about the importance of that specific event and why folks should come to City Hall that Friday. Oh, I'm sorry, that
That's
Saturday
Saturday.
to
Mhm.
yeah, that Saturday for that event. And not only that, but maybe tell us a little bit about what happens during the event, right? It's not just the flag going up. There's a lot of stuff that happens during that event.
Exactly. So the flag raising is held the day before the parade, right? And so that to the organization sets off the tone for that following day, right? Which kicks off the parade and the festival. Usually that day we recognize volunteers who have worked with the organization and has outshined everybody, right? So we do that. This past year was our 30th year, so we gave out certificates to people who were also celebrating their 30 years in existence, right? I think if off the top of my head, if I remember, we gave a certificate to, oh God, what was that dance studio? Help me, Eddie. My mind is escaping me.
The Latin Rhythm Dance Studio.
Latin Rhythm Dance Studio. They were, I think they were celebrating 20 years. Caribe was celebrating 20 years. And there was a host of organizations that were celebrating milestones. And so we decided to dedicate the flag raising to those organizations, setting those milestones, giving back to our community, and doing so much work with our youth, right? So we highlighted them. Um, we got recognized by the city of Bridgeport as, that day being, the day for the Puerto Rican parade. We had, Latin dance, Latin rhythms, showcase. I think it was two dancers. We had people selling art, um that they've, that it was art, and I think it was flags that they were selling that day. Michaelizzi's was out there with us. He's a great supporter of the Puerto Rican parade, giving out his, Italian ice. But there's nothing more important, Eddie, than setting that tone and raising the flag that day. There's nothing more important, you know. It's crazy because people don't understand why Puerto Ricans get so excited when they see that flag, right? It's crazy, to certain people. Why do you guys get, yeah, see? Yeah, exactly. So, so you have your little flag, but to see that massive flag go up
Oh,
on
hold
that
on,
flagpole.
hold on. Don't talk about my little flag. All right.
No, but
Don't talk.
that's a little flag, but with a big heart there, right?
Look at this one. Wait. Hold on. Wait, look at this one. Wait, where is it? Where is it?
No,
Wait.
a little bit more.
Okay.
Turn it over a little bit.
There it is. There it is.
See, that one even has more heart on it. Um, but right, it's
Yeah.
crazy because people, there's all these kinds of memes and stuff on social media about us going crazy when we see that flag, but people don't realize that we do that because at one point we couldn't showcase that flag, right? And so there's a whole history behind that, and just to see that flag being raised that day and celebration of our people, right? And the people who've come before us, who are here now with us, and who will come in the future. Puerto Ricans are a milestone in this city, and we just don't realize that. And so it is an absolute, pleasure, an honor to see that flag just going up and waving that day.
No, most definitely, and so again, I've seen that throughout the years, and this year particularly, I mean, it was crazy packed, and I
Yeah.
love it. And so, folks, please, that if you're watching on Facebook, we got about 16 people live watching right now, guys. If you're watching, please make sure that you come this year to the flag raising event. It's such a nice event, super hot. Make sure you get there early so you get some shade. Um,
Yeah.
but it's definitely a great event to attend. Um, and so okay, so we have those. We have that. Are there any other events that we didn't mention that the Puerto Rican Parade takes part in every year, Mirta? I don't think so.
Well, you know what? And this came, and when I was looking at the calendar, remember this year, we had a professor come and talk to us about Puerto Rico. I'm not sure if you were at that event, Eddie. Did you come to
Yes,
that at the
yes, I was
Bridgeport
there.
Public Library?
Yeah, I was
Oh
there.
my God, what a phenomenal event that was! We brought a professor down, and she spoke about Puerto Rico. Listen, she gave so many facts that I was sitting there taking notes. And so the parade is going to get involved in a lot of doing more of that, right? Bringing down professors and talking to us about Puerto Rico. One of the things, like I mentioned before, was the reason why we get so excited when we see our flag, right? It was because at one point we couldn't showcase our flag, right? And so she came down, and let me tell you, it was amazing. And the people that were there, definitely asked for us to do that again. So that's one of the events that we haven't scheduled yet, but we will definitely work on scheduling that, so to bring more educational events to the organization and to the residents here.
Oh no, most definitely. I noticed that last year there were a few events that you guys did that were educational.
Yep.
Not only that one, but there was another one. I'm not sure if it was Bombay Plena. I'm not sure what it
Yep.
was, but there was something else that you guys did last year as well,
Yep.
which is
So, that's one of the things that as an executive board we're really trying to bring back, right? Is and I think this year we even discussed bringing the danza and teaching our youth the danza and the use of the fan and the clothing and the attire that's used so that our youth understand what that is. So it's great to have such a committed board to bringing on new events. Yes, we continue, with our annual events, which are great, and we'll continue to do those. But the educational event is something that this group of women and members of the organization really push for. It's all about educating.
No,
So
most definitely. Susie Lafitte, who we all know very well, says there was a time in the U.S. history that it was
that's right.
illegal to raise our flag. So we must never forget, and we need to continue to proudly display our beautiful flag. And
Absolutely.
I couldn't have said it any better than Susie did. Thank you so much, Susie.
Yeah, and not to mention Susie is one of our members. She's dedicated. She does a lot of hard work with the parade, and so I want to give her a shout out and thank her
No,
for her
listen, you mentioned it earlier, and for folks who may be coming on now, maybe they didn't hear the beginning of this interview. Well, first of all, once we're done, it'll be on Facebook. You can watch it again. It'll be
okay.
it'll be on YouTube as well. It'll be on LinkedIn. And so you can always go back and watch this full interview. But you did bring up your board members and the folks that are there to help you.
Mhm.
And let me just say that not that you have a board full of great experienced people, which is so important, right?
Yeah,
Because these are folks who not only do are they willing to give their time, but they have so much experience, on their shoulders of the work that they've done with other organizations that is just so amazing
absolutely.
to have them come and help you. So I think you're super blessed to be able to have that great board that you have.
Absolutely. Listen, right now it's funny because it's all women on the executive board right now, right? And so we call our ourselves a powerful the powerful girl squad or whatever. But you have, Lisette Colon, who worked for the city of Bridgeport in the Board of Education for I'm not gonna put out the number of years she was there, but she was there for a very long time, and it's insane. I couldn't even give a number, the number of people and families that Lisette was able to help here in this city through her work, with the city and the Board of Education. She has a host of boards under her belt. I know right off the bat, YMCA, she sits on the board of the YMCA. She does a tremendous job there. We have Jalissa, who's the treasurer, who is an entrepreneur herself. She has a shop at Captain's Cove. She's in sales. She is a rock star when it comes to numbers and helping us raise funds. We have Ruth, who currently works with Bridgeport Caribe, which they're rock stars with our youth and educating in the sports arena. So I mean, we have. I'm blessed because I couldn't, you know do anything that I do without those women I've mentioned and the members. I mean, we have, Albert Benahim, who sits on the Board of Education. He's a Board of Ed member. We have attorney Dennis Bradley, who sits on our board. Amazing attorney, Um, and I won't continue to name call because I can't remember everybody. But
Yeah.
listen, we have a lot of members. And like I said, the work couldn't get done without all of those people. It couldn't.
We talked about volunteers earlier, and the importance that the importance that they are, and the
Yeah,
role that they play within our events. Are there any ways that people can get involved that maybe does not entail them coming and being actually active? Are there can we come to meetings? Is there anything else that we can do to volunteer? Because some people may not be able to go to an event and help.
absolutely. Listen, we have, I think this month our first membership meeting is January 24th, and that'll be held at the Y at 850 Park Avenue. There come that's when that's where all the work gets done, right? Is at our membership meetings. We held a membership drive back in November at La Bodega del Mofongo to try to increase membership because members come and sometimes they dwindle and they get caught up in other stuff. So we're constantly trying to increase our membership. But yeah, one of the biggest things that people can do, listen, is come listen to what we're doing, give us some ideas. you know yes, we have our own ideas, but all ideas are welcome, right? Because um you know I may think of something that you may not have thought, and we welcome that. We're not a closed board. We have our arms wide open, ready to welcome anybody, because you know what? Again, we'll go back to what we stated before. Eddie was volunteers is what moves these nonprofit organizations in the city, especially this one.
No, most definitely. Listen,
Mhm.
I know that for a fact. As you know, I'm involved with organizations as
I
well at
know
the
it.
moment. We're celebrating 20 years this year as well, so I know all about it. You mentioned memberships. How do we go about becoming a member or getting more information on how we become a member?
So memberships, and I'll have our wonderful secretary Ruth throw that back on Facebook. It's a
Okay.
form membership right now is for it's $20 annually, which is it's nothing, right? So it's $20 for the year, and you become a member, and you're privy to all of the events that take place. So we send out emails. We're going to be in the process of revamping that. We're going to bring up the price a little bit, but it's going to come with perks, right? And so we're in the process of revamping that right now. But like I said, currently to become a member is $20. You get emails, once every once an event is taking place, so that you don't miss an event and get the chance to hang out with us. But we'll put that back out. And like I said, our webpage is currently under construction. And that membership application will be put up on the website as well.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Susie said I read her mind. Susie, I can see you. The I can see what you're thinking. I love Susie. I love Susie. Um, no, listen, this is all great information because again,
Yes.
I think too often we just don't know. I mean, even me, being involved with the organization that I'm involved with, which I won't bring up because this is not about me. This is about you and what you guys going on. But I've had people come up to me and ask me, "Hey, when's the parade taking place?" And I'm like, "No, we don't. That's not us. That's the Puerto Rican Parade of Fairfield County." And so I
Yep.
think that this helps people kind of understand a little bit about what the organization is, what it is that we do, and how they can help, right? Because I think, right, that sometimes it becomes really really easy to say something, or to complain about something, right?
Yep.
And I just, for me, I just feel like, hey, listen, we all have great ideas. Once you just come sit at the table with us and give us
Yep.
some of those ideas, and that may be able to help us kind of move this forward. And that's why I'm bringing these things up, because I know that some of these meetings are open to the public, right? And so
And they
you
all
could
are.
come, yeah, you could come, you could sit with us, whatever. And so is there, I mean, I know you said that the website is being revamped and getting
Mhm.
is being worked on. Is there anywhere else where we could find information in terms of like meetings, where they're going to be held, and what times?
Yep. So that'll be posted on our website. Obviously, this weekend we were a little jammed with the event that we had taking place, but as of next week, Monday, that'll be posted. Everything will be posted on Facebook. We know people sit there from the minute they get up in the morning, they're on Facebook, because I know I'm one of them. Just I sit there scrolling there, or on Instagram and on all the social media sites. But right now we're currently working with Facebook, and so all our events, events and meeting dates and everything will be posted on there.
No, definitely,
Yep.
the Greater Bridgeport Latino Network is, we're working on a community calendar too, so all that stuff will be on our calendar as well. So
Yeah.
we just want to have more places for that to be. So a comment just came in that, I've been posting up comments that are coming in, but this is a comment came in that I think you're going to be very happy to see, Milta. So I'm going to go ahead
Okay.
and I'm going to bring it up here real quick.
Okay.
And I think that this comment from Johnny might be something that that might put a smile on your face. Johnny says, "I am so happy that the parade is continuing under your leadership, Milta. You have always been a force to be reckoned with. Felicidades."
Oh my God. Listen, so can we go, can we just talk about Johnny Ortiz and how I met him? And Johnny, you know what? I appreciate that comment, especially coming from you. Johnny was one of our fearless leaders. He was president for many years of this organization. And I have to say, and I'll admit this, is that none of our events have been decorated the way he decorated, because he's a true artist. Let me tell you, this guy, when I tell you, you would say event, and the minute like you weren't even finished saying the word, and he had it all painted out already and how it was going to be decorated. And let me tell you, the guy is phenomenal. It's unfortunate, unfortunate for us, but fortunate for him. He moved to Florida and is living in the sunny state of, Florida. And we miss him very much. But it was funny because the way I became part of this parade was because I was, viewing the parade one year, and I saw these little girls with these very inappropriate outfits, right? And so I went to the meeting the next time, and I mentioned that, and I said, listen, that's not our culture, little girls and these little outfits or whatever. And I remember Johnny saying to me, oh yeah. I said, yeah, that's my opinion, and that's how I feel. And I've always, been very opinionated. And he said, okay, well, put your money where your mouth is. And I said, okay, I'll take on that challenge. Right. And let me tell you, from that moment on, we hit it off. We worked very well together. I learned a lot from him, his leadership skills, how to put events together, not only put them together, but how to staff them with the volunteers and make them successful. And so I have to thank Johnny for that, and a lot of the other presidents that I learned from. One of the other one other president was Diana Torres. Diana Torres was a fearless leader. She was a fierce to reckon with. We
Yes,
have Eva Canales. She's a pillar in this community as well.
I love me some Eva.
Yes, let me tell you, that lady was she is little, but she's feisty and she gets things done, you know. But to sit here and get a comment like that from Johnny is very touching.
Yeah,
So
no, I love it. I've heard so many great things from Johnny. I never I met him once, and ironically, it was the day that I was sashed as first vice president, and he actually was he was in town, and he came to the event. He sashed me, and but I didn't really get to talk to him. But I hear
mhm.
so many great stories that I hope one day we're able to sit down and kind of just chat.
Yeah, listen, I hope he comes down to one of our events and graces us with his presence at one of our events this year. But let me tell you, this organization has been held down by a lot of true leaders, and he is one of them. So, I'm touched. I'm getting a little emotional because of his comment, but it's because I learned so much from him, and so I just want to, put it out there, Johnny. Thank you so much for teaching me and for taking time to teach me. And I'll never forget you, John. So whenever you're in town, come visit us and be part of our event.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see the comments that I'm putting up, but he says that'll be great, Eddie, in terms of
Yes.
him coming down. Yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Most definitely. I'm trying to think before we end this great conversation we're having. Milton, I'm trying to think if there's anything that we're leaving out. In terms of the pageant this year, are we already done? And I say we because I always feel like I'm part of the
That's
organization.
right. It is
Um,
we.
are we done? What do you call it? Recruiting kids to join the pageant, or how are we looking on that?
So I know there was a recruitment meeting that was held in December.
Okay.
And now in January, like I said, today was the first meeting. I'm sure, Luthi and Camilia would be more than willing to accept new contestants. The more the merrier, right? That's how we were taught growing up. And I'm sure there'll be a cutoff date, but all of that information is on Facebook. Um, it's, it'll be posted, as they do and as they host their events. But yeah, there is still an opportunity for contestants to sign up. So just like I said, go up on our page onto the PRP, the 30th year Puerto Rican Parade of Fairfield County, like our page, send us questions there, or you can even send us an email at prpfc 2023 at gmail.com. Send us any questions, or request information from us, and we're ready to answer.
No, most
So
definitely.
yeah,
So go ahead, go ahead.
I just saw that Lutisha said, "Yep, we're still allowing kids." So see, that's the boss. So yeah, they're. Let me tell you, those girls are phenomenals. I am so excited to be working with them.
No,
So
most definitely. Mita, is there anything else that I'm leaving out that you wanted to talk about in terms of the PRPFC?
Um, I kind of think we hit everything. Like I said, if people have any questions, they want to come. Like I said, our first meeting is going to be January 24th. We'll post it on Facebook. Come meet us. Join us. Like I said, every event that we've held, we've had a phenomenal time because an event is what you make of it, right? And so like I said, come meet us. We're an open book. We're ready to work, to continue working for our community. So yeah, so any questions, please reach out to us. And I want to thank you, Eddie, because it's people like you that continue to put out great leaders, and put a shine on the leaders out in our community. you know I'll tell you a quick story before we hop off. This year for Hispanic Heritage Month, I asked my daughter, so who did you learn about? And she was like, oh, we didn't. So you know what I did? I sent an email to the school, and for 2 or 3 months straight, we sat and we researched Puerto Rican women, okay, in leadership and what they did. And so, I want to just, again stress the importance of us educating our youth, and you're doing that every time you bring somebody on your show. And so I really want to thank you, for this show, for the Latin soundtrack, but for also the work you do with the Greater Bridgeport Latino Network. I think you're doing a fabulous job. And, as long as I'm here and even not a part of this organization, I'll continue to support and assist you with your ventures as well.
No, thank you. I really do appreciate it, guys. Listen, if you're watching, if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're at, please make sure that you visit the PRPFC's Facebook page. That's the 30th anniversary Puerto Rican Parade of Fairfield County Inc. You could find them there, follow them there. Let them know if you want to kind of get involved. If you're watching on YouTube at the moment, down in the description, I'll have all the information on there, so you could go down there and link up and see what's going on with them. Please, whether you're Puerto Rican or not, if you're Latino, if you're not Latino, doesn't matter. Come to a meeting, see what's going on, see how you can help. Everybody always, everybody has something that they can help with. Me, as a leader, I've always been a person who looks more to see how you can help with something that you're good at, right?
Yep,
As opposed to putting you somewhere where you're not going to succeed, right? And so if,
exactly.
if, if you have something you can bring to the table, bring it. And I'm sure that the Puerto Rican Parade of Fairfield County will be more than happy to have you come on and help us with whatever it is that you can help. Um,
Yep.
whether you can give us, I don't know, 8 hours a week or 5 minutes a week, whatever it is, everything
We'll
counts,
take it.
and so please make sure that you check it out. A lot of events coming up. The cultural
Mhm.
pageant is coming back after a few years off. So we're excited for that.
Yeah.
Parade is coming up. The gala in September. A lot of
And
great events coming up.
yep. So, and I'll leave it with this, because it's funny. Everybody is Puerto Rican the day of the Puerto Rican Day Parade, because we're all out there, all national. I think the whole city of Bridgeport comes out and enjoys our festivities, right? And so, I'll leave it at that. Everybody's Puerto Rican the day of the Puerto Rican Parade, and we're excited to put this event on for you year after year, and hopefully you'll come and join us.
No, most definitely. Again, if you're watching this podcast, if you're just starting out, please go back, watch it from the beginning, share it, let your friends know about this so they can learn more about this amazing organization, and we could definitely um, keep making it bigger. This is the 31st year, which we didn't really
Yes.
talk about that, but it's the 31st year, right? And so let's keep making it bigger and better, and just keep bringing good things to the Latino community here in Bridgeport. Milta, listen, thank you so much. Again, this is something I wanted to do for a long time, and I'm glad to have done it with you. So I appreciate you for your time. Again, anything that I can do, anything that GBLN can do,
Absolutely.
anything that we can do to help, please let me know. Um, and we'll be in touch. Okay.
Absolutely.
Listen, I'm gonna take you off the screen so I can go ahead and kind of finish the podcast, but don't go away so we can talk after this. Okay.
Absolutely. I'll wait for you. All
Okay.
right. Take care.
Yes, yes, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. I really do appreciate your support for the Land soundtrack. We're back after 5 years. I don't know if you missed it. I don't know if you didn't. I sure did miss it. There's no podcast like this podcast. No shade. But listen, guys, thank you so much for coming through. Please stay tuned to more podcasts coming your way from the Transcendent Outlook podcast. I do appreciate you. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your shares. I appreciate your comments. Thank you so much. Castro, I see you, baby. We're gonna get you up here because we gotta talk about a couple things. Susie, Alma, Kio, baby, thank you. Everybody else who kind of tuned in and commented, Luthi, all of you guys, you know who you are. Thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate you. Make sure you share this podcast and have a good night.